I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Ha Rakakwadash, double honors unto our apostle elders, which rule great millstone well, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure unto the end. Shalom wa abba babal. So a lot of brothers been doing sit downs on this brother that had a video about his dream, which he had two dreams about the YNs being destroyed in war, and then the women, right, of a young age, I believe he said Gen Z, were begging for, marriage, just as it says it would happen in Isaiah 4:1. All right, he had a dream about these things. Okay, Isaiah 4:1, which I'll show you the videos. I recommend you go watch them and be edified. Isaiah 4:1, and in that day, which we're in this time, 7 women, which is just meaning a complete number of women, talking about the Israelite women, shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. And the reproach is not having a husband and not having children. All right, because the whole purpose of a woman is to serve a man, comfort, and to have children. Okay? So I'm going to go down to that word reproach, and it shows you that it goes with Genesis 30:23. And she conceived and bare a son and said, our power had taken away my reproach, which this is talking about Rachel. All right. So the reproach was not conceiving and bearing children. 1 Samuel 1:6, and her adversary, which was the sister wife, also provoked her sore to make her fret, because the Lord had shut up her womb. So it's a shame for women not to have any children, let alone a husband to have children with. All right. So in these last days, these women are going to realize that, they've been deceived by the Western mindset, right, of a woman thinking that she don't need a man. But as we go into this time of Jacob's trouble, that's going to turn into a great tribulation when they bring out that implantable microchip and make it mandatory for buying and selling. All right, it's going to kick off a great tribulation. All right, and these women, they're going to be in great straits, difficult times, to the point where they're going to put their pride down and beg for a man to take them, which this is what the brother had a dream of, which he's, I don't believe he's in Great Millstone or even teaches the doctrine of Great Millstone. But when you watch the videos, all right, he has visions and compares them to the scriptures, meaning he does watch the videos, and most likely he will be of the elect number of the Israelite men that these women, hope to try to cleave onto for salvation, because a woman, an Israelite woman, all right, her salvation is through marriage to an Israelite man of the Lord. This is why it says that the Lord is going to make a man more precious than fine gold in Isaiah 13. All right. It says in verse 11, and I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy and the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious, talking about a hopeful elect Israelite man, more precious than fine gold, because we're going to be stable in these days of trouble. Even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir, which we're going to be stable by the knowledge and wisdom and understanding which we received through the Holy Spirit of what was to happen in these last days. So let's go to Isaiah 33, verse 2. O Yahweh, be gracious unto us. We have waited for thee. Be thou their arm every morning, our salvation also in the time of trouble. Verse 5, Yahweh is exalted, which we praise Yahweh every day. That's why we do these videos. This is why we go to camp. This is why we're trying to live clean lives. For he dwelleth on high. He had filled Zion, the Israelites, talking about the hopeful elect, with judgment and righteousness. All right, which we understand the Lord's will because he told us, right, in the Holy Scriptures, and we're comforted by the Holy Spirit, which we have the mind of the Messiah. And wisdom and knowledge shall be thy stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh is his treasure. So we meditate on these scriptures because we want to know, because we fear the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. And as it says in Psalm, I believe it's 9, it might be 19, but it tells you, yep, right here, 9 and verse 16. Yahweh is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Higion meaning they're plotting on the righteous, Selah. All right. So Yahweh is going to send his son Yahweh Shai to save us. And we know this and what judgments are to come before Yahweh Shai returns. So we're going to be stable watching all these things come to pass. But the rest of the Israelites, they're going to be destroyed in their unfaithfulness. Now, once again, the women of our nation are going to be saved through marriage. And marriage is sex, according to Yahweh's will. All right? He created a woman for sex. He didn't create her to push the plow, to pull the plow like a heifer, right? They they were created soft and pretty for the bed, for comfort, like a flower, sweet smelling. They're supposed to bring you comfort, and women today think they don't need a man, that they could do the same things as a man, right? That they could fight a man, but in these last days, they're going to realize that they needed a man, and a lot of these women are going to die without a man. It says in 1 Timothy 2, verse 15, notwithstanding she shall be saved, meaning the Israelite women that understand, she shall be saved in childbearing if they continue in faith and charity and holiness with sobriety, right? If you're an Israelite woman and you know what you're supposed to be doing, first of all, you're supposed to be learning at home from your husband. So stop watching my video if you're married. Go and obey your husband at home, all right? But the women that have understanding of salvation is going to be by you being joined to an Israelite of the elect number, all right? The Israelite men of the Lord, which you shall know them by their fruit, as it says in Matthew 7. And I believe that's 21. Matthew 7, verse 20. Wherefore by their fruits ye shall know them, which we've been doing these videos. We've been edifying the nation of Israel, right? We've been exhorting the Israelites to repent, okay? But a lot of these Israelites just hide it in a napkin and go about their lives, and they're going to find themselves being rejected, whether it's men in the truth, coming into the truth, they're going to be rejected because they're going to accept the implantable microchip, the mark of the beast, which will condemn them to the nuclear destruction of America. Are these Israelite women that said they didn't need a man, they don't want a man, especially a man that has multiple women, all right? So you're going to die alone, okay? Now, let me show you this videos here on my channel. This is my channel. It's for the elect. All right, for the elect of Israel. And when you go to the posts page, all right, I shared a lot of these brothers' videos, which, you know, they hit all the points. So I don't want to go through the same scriptures, which I already shared the videos that the elder apostles were already doing. All right, like this one was Apostle Tahar, the head elder, and, you know, he broke it down. Okay, he plays the brother's dream, but he also plays a part that caught my attention, and I wanted to share that part, which was he shows in this video them in Gaza, right? Let's see if I find it in here. He shows this little clip of Gaza in here. Let's see. If I remember, I believe it was this video. Okay, so it was the least of the flock, all right, shall draw them out. And I don't believe I shared this one, but I will share it. All right. All right, so I'm sharing it to my post channel as Isaiah 4:1. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. All right. And in this video of Apostle Tahar, which his channel is known as What is the 666 Mark 2, number 2, GMS Truth. All right. Now, this video that he put up, he shows in Gaza them trying to flee. And if you watch this part right here, you'll see the women sitting on the floor. You see the men, right? They have more than the women. They have vehicles, they have luggage, but that's because they have strength. All right? Women, what are they doing? They're sitting on the floor.
See the boys, 17 Israelite men that were 17 and above when they were taken into Egypt.
Right here. That's the right there. There it is. That's the part that caught my attention. You see the men, they have cars, they have mattresses, they have the ability to even push this vehicle. But look at all these women sitting on the side of the road because they have no man. There's no man with them. These are all women right here. You see that? That's all women. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and it goes on. It goes down the road. There's nothing but women. That's about 7 women right there, just sitting on the road as the men walk past them with more abundance of things because they have the strength. You see, women don't realize this, but in a time of war, women are the weaker vessel, even in, you know, the beginning of all things natural. All right? The men have the strength. The women don't have the same strength of a man. The men have the wits being the first created, not the women like the men. All right? So the women, they were created soft and pretty to comfort a man in bed. See, but if they don't have a man, they're literally going to be sitting on the floor waiting for death. All right? And the older they get, the weaker they get. You know, so if you get a woman that's in her 60s, she can't go chase a chicken. You know what I'm saying? She can't hunt like a man can. You see, so women, when they don't have a man and they don't have society supporting them, all right, they become the prey. They literally sit on the ground and wait to die. Okay. And if a man wants to come and take them and take their box and then just use them and leave them there, that's what will happen. And this is why the brother's dream that he had, this brother that had the dream, right? Which, once again, I shared it on my channel, Apostle Tahar's breakdown of that brother's dream, you know, which a couple brothers did sit down on it, right? This brother here, he had two dreams, and one of the main parts of the dream were these young women being rejected. I don't want you. I don't want your kids from another man. I don't want you. And so he said in the dream that they were leaving their kids that were from other men on the side of the road so that they could go be with a man, because they realized without a man they cannot live. All right, which I'll go ahead and wrap it up with this in Isaiah 3. All right, and verse, let's see. Isaiah 3 and 16, it says, moreover, Yahweh saith, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, meaning proud, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes, meaning undisciplined eyes, walking and menacing as they go and making a tinkling with their feet, meaning they're proud because they got a job. I don't need a man, so their neck is stretched forth, right? They could have any man they want. They make their own money. They got their own place. They got their own car. They dress like whores. Therefore, the Lord will smite with a scab the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and Yahweh will discover their secret parts, which they, starting with Judah, the Israelite woman lose hair. They don't have their hair that they had in the kingdom of heaven, all right, because we're under the curses of sin. So part of that sin, that part of the curse of sinning was the starting with Judah, the head tribe, the women lose their hair. All right, that's why they wear wigs. All right, in that day, the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments about their feet and their cauls and their round tires like the moon, the chains and the bracelets and the mufflers and the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs and the headbands and the tablets and the earrings and the rings and the nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel, which a lot of women, they have lots of clothes, they have lots of jewelry. One of the things, the nose jewels, you know, a lot of these women, they put that nose ring right in the middle of their nose. All right, all this shit's going out the window. All right, they're gonna be like these women I showed you on Apostle Tahar's channel, right? Sitting on the ground, hoping a man will have mercy on them, with nothing but maybe a backpack.
These
You see? All right. Just like in the movie Book of Eli, you had that woman with the shopping cart, and she was just being passed to whoever came along, right? There was a certain group of men that were using her and abusing her, and then they died and got killed. And so then the next group of men came and used her and abused her, right? And then when Eli released her from the ones that were holding her captive and using her as bait to trap more men, when he went to go get her water, it was black water. It was filthy water, and she was sitting on the ground like these women, and whoever passed by could use them and abuse them and do whatever they want to them. All right, see right here. The scene is Book of Eli. It's a 2010 movie. Silhouette Slaughter. It's part 2 of the film. But as you can see, that woman, she's sitting just like those women in Gaza. See, just being used and abused. See, there you go. That's the scene right there. She's on the ground. She's been ran through by groups of men, and they take her shit and just abuse her and use her for bait to try to entrap other men. And when you see her jar of water, it's black water, which means she's gonna die. All right, which in the movie, Eli just leaves her there. She's like, "Can I go with you?" And he didn't want her. She was used and abused. She was no good to him. You see? But who ended up going with him was the young one. This one here, which was played by this actress, this Romanian actress, which she followed him. But in that movie, Eli didn't even want her because he was focused on his mission, which he was dealing with the scriptures. The scriptures was dealing with him. You see? So a lot of these women, they don't realize it, but they've been having the time of their life, but they're gonna lose their life for having a time of their life. And there's women that understand that they're gonna need a man to survive this time of trouble, because the scriptures say that a man shall be a hiding place. All right. But I'm going to finish this verse, chapter 3, Isaiah 3 and verse 22. The changeable suits of apparel, meaning you go to a woman's closet, it's full of different clothes, different shoes, different jewelry. Well, in that day, they won't have that. They won't have their job. They won't have their apartment. They won't have their car. They won't have safety, right? It says, and the mantles and the wimples and the crisping pins, the glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils, because we know women like comfort. So when they get money, what do? They comfort themselves with all this materialism, all right? But it makes them ignorant to the truth that they need a man. But then this wicked ass society of Edom, the so-called white man that rule the world in wickedness, he tells a woman, you don't need a man. You could have all the men you want and not die. And a lot of these women believe it. And once again, they're going to die alone, right? Because they had the time of their life and no one wants them. And it shall come to pass that instead of sweet smell, which they're supposed to smell good, so you want them, there shall be stink. And you don't think that woman stink? You know, in real life, if she was sitting there and she was having trains ran on her, 5 men at each time just shooting their load in her, because there ain't going to be no condoms. There ain't going to be no stores to go get condoms. Water, which is a necessity, is going to be scarce. That's why that woman was drinking black water. She don't even have enough water to wash her ass after getting ran through. So these women are going to stink bad. And then they're going to be on their periods. You see? It says, and a lot of women already do stink because they lost the way of being a woman and taking care of themselves as a woman. It says that instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink. And instead of a girdle, a rent, which a lot of women are obese. And instead of well-set hair, baldness, which they lose their hair being under the curse of a sinful Israelite. And instead of a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, right? And burning instead of beauty, which they dye their hair, right? They dress like whores. They stink. A lot of men are saying these women that got these Brazilian butt lifts, they smell horrible. Oh, the fake nails, those fake nails. They say a lot of these women are getting cancer from those acrylic nails. It says, thy men shall fall by the sword, which that brother had a dream. He had 2 dreams. The first dream was the YNs Gen Z men dying in war, right? And then the second dream was all their women looking for men to take them in. They said he was saying that they didn't care. They didn't care if you had 10 wives or what they had to do. They were leaving the children that they had with these other men on the side of the road so that they could be accepted. You see? Thy men shall fall by thy sword, by the sword, and thy mighty in the war, which there's going to be war in the streets of America. There's going to be war in the valley of Jehoshaphat, the valley of slaughter. There's going to be famine. There's going to be pestilence. All right. And her gates shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground. And just like you see, these women, they're going to be sitting on the ground. In Gaza, they don't have a man. And they probably don't have fathers or brothers because they died in the war. So they're all alone, and all they're going to be used for is box. If they want, other men to use them, other men want them, there's nothing they could do to stop them. The men are going to use them, ejaculate in them, and then leave them and move on. Right? So these women, that are living the time of their life, they're going to lose their life because they listen to the older generation, which these other women, their grandmothers, their mothers, told them, you don't need a man. Feminism is the way, and feminism always fails, and it's going to leave them on the ground. All right?